All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're not going to be talking about meteorology or the science behind supercells. Nope. Instead, we're going to put on our art critic hats. We're going to take this one single, absolutely breathtaking photograph and break it down, piece by piece, to figure out why it hits us so hard. Wow. Just take a second to look at this. For most of us, the first reaction is this crazy mix of pure awe and just raw terror. You can't deny it's beautiful in a powerful, elemental way. But at the same time, it's a picture of immense destruction. It's this complicated gut punch of a feeling that we're going to unpack. So let's try to move past that initial gut reaction. We're actually going to learn how to read this photograph, element by element. And by the end of this, you'll see how every single part of this frame is working together to tell a very specific and a very dramatic story. To really understand the power of the whole image, we've got to look at the individual parts first. We're going to break this down into its three basic layers: the foreground, the midground, and the background. It's a great way to see how the photographer is building the scene and telling us where to look. So let's start with what's closest to us, the road. In photography, this is a classic technique called a leading line. See how it starts right at the bottom of the frame and just pulls your eye right into the heart of the action? It's like a path, and it's dragging you forward, straight toward the storm. It creates this feeling of an unavoidable journey. Now you have to look closer for these details. They are so easy to miss. See that tiny little car and the even smaller road sign? These are absolutely crucial. They're the anchors of the whole photograph. Without them, the tornado is just some abstract shape in the sky. But with them, we immediately get it. We understand the colossal scale of this thing. They just scream human vulnerability. And finally, let's look up at the source of all this power. The background is completely dominated by this monster of a supercell cloud. It's not just a dark sky, folks. It looks like a living, breathing thing. This is the engine of the whole scene, giving birth to that funnel and casting this heavy, oppressive shadow over everything. Okay, so we've set the stage. Now let's focus on the star of our show, the tornado itself. We're going to zoom right in and really examine the details of the vortex. But hang on. Before I start pointing things out, just take another second and really look. What kind of textures do you see? What is its shape telling you about its motion, its power? Actively looking at these little details is the key to really appreciating what's going on here. So, what did you see? First, there's that smooth, almost muscular texture of the funnel, right? It looks solid, like a twisted rope, which just implies this immense rotational force. Then, look down at the base. That messy cloud of dirt and debris, that tells you it's on the ground, actively tearing up the landscape. You can also see how it's just plugged right into that massive supercell above it. The entire shape just screams violent, twisting motion, completely frozen in time. So we've looked at the physical parts. Now let's switch gears and talk about the more abstract, the artistic elements that take this from a simple snapshot and turn it into a real work of art. We're talking about things like composition, contrast, and light. The drama in this photo really boils down to one core idea: contrast. On one side, you have total stillness, the empty road, the quiet, flat landscape. And on the other side, you have the swirling violence of the vortex and those chaotic storm clouds. It's this clash, this fight between the static and the dynamic that creates all the tension you feel when you look at it. And the lighting in this photo just enhances that tension perfectly. The storm itself is dark, it's ominous, it's full of dread. But then, look over to the right. See that sliver of bright, clear blue sky? It's like a little hint of peace right on the edge of all that chaos. That lighting isn't just there to make things visible, it's setting an incredibly complex mood. So let's bring all these pieces back together. We've looked at the parts: the road, the car, the clouds, the funnel itself, and we've looked at the artistic choices like light and contrast. Now we can see how they all combine to tell the story of the single frozen moment in time. If there's one fancy art school word to describe what's happening here, it's juxtaposition. And really, it's just the official term for what we've been talking about: placing two contrasting things right next to each other to create an effect. The photographer has perfectly captured the juxtaposition of the mundane world, a simple road trip, with the magnificent and terrifying power of nature. So looking at it one last time, you can now see everything working together, can't you? The road pulls us in, The car shows us the terrifying scale, and those dark swirling clouds are fighting with that little sliver of blue sky. It is a perfect collision of beauty and danger, captured in maybe a thousandth of a second. And all of this leaves us with the central paradox of this image. It really forces us to confront this question. Can something so unbelievably destructive also be beautiful? It's that very tension that makes this photograph, and the force of nature it captures, completely unforgettable.